Aurora, Yone. The red side must bans, but they're not taking them off the board. But they won't get their pick of the litter. They won't get to pick first. Yone usually the one that's prioritized.
Haha, BLG forced to ban the Yone away.
G2 should respond.
They have to get rid of the Aurora now. They don't have
You're in
much
an
of a
interesting
choice.
spot because then is it first pick Kalista? Is the response Ashe? We're now in a draft arms race. The entire plan from both sides.
Skarner, Kalista. I think the Skarner's going to be the first pick from BLG. It's been so effective for both junglers across the series.
I mean, we can't understate Xun single-handedly winning the map for his team in game one. And they're going to go for it again.
So what's the response going to be from G2? What do you put in the jungle? Maybe we see a return to something like the Sejuani or the Maokai for Yike. If melee skirmishes are the name of the game for G2, maybe Sejuani is the answer. Brand has been let through a bunch. Maybe they put him back on AP junglers. He's thinking about the Xin Zhao for himself.
Willing to take the opposite side of the matchup. A champion who, if it gets ahead, can do a ton of work, but think about the Skarner and the tank junglers, they're so reliable. But Xin, a bit more explosive, a bit more volatile, still has the ultimate to keep himself safe.
Wait a minute, is this Xin top?
Calm down.
Okay, sorry. You're right.
We can't forget the fundamentals. Just
True.
because it's
Don't
game
talk
3,
about
it's super
hovers. Don't
crazy,
talk
the
about
stakes are
hovers.
insanely high.
Not
We can't lose ourselves in the chaos yet.
Yeah,
we get in the game, it's a different story. But for now, okay, Renekton.
Okay. So
Double AD topside.
they're really putting pressure on Bin's pool here. Likely leaning towards a Cassante then would be the likely direction.
With a double AD topside, I mean, Cassante gets ahead.
Oh, Rumble is another possibility, and that's going to be locked in. So already BLG drafting some strong team fighting, leaning towards more of an MF angle. I imagine that they don't want to lock in Knight mid laner just yet. Perhaps they just go for, yeah, I was thinking support perhaps. The Rell is currently the hover for On. His most played so far at the Swiss stage.
In general, I think it's probably still the strongest blind pick support we have in the current meta. Bin's Rumble, of course, not his most played champion by any means.
I really liked Mickey on Rakan, but the Kalista is still available, of course, and so...
Followed by the immediate Ashe ban to ensure the lane counter is not on the table.
Yeah, and BLG have already banned the Poppy as well, so that's something they don't have to concern themselves with. The Renata, a good takeaway from Mickey to deny that Kalista-Renata bot lane 2 versus 2. A terrifying duo. What other AD carries are you now afraid of? Maybe the Kai'Sa is something to consider. MF, yeah, when you're drafting Rell plus Rumble, MF is the obvious answer to pair alongside that.
Don't want to give them any more combo pieces. Incredible focus on physical damage, however,
Maybe
on the side
Alistar
of...
banned from BLG now. We don't already know Mickey for being a big Alistar player, then
Go the
Nico
ban
instead. Yep. Okay, well now you imagine support is going to come through here. They want to give Caps counterpick, which makes so much sense to me. You want to make sure that he's really set up for success in this final game. Alistar is currently the hover though. Pairs nicely alongside the Kalista, but so does a Leona. Both I think are fine picks.
Debate, Alistar feels like the one that makes the most sense. But something new, Taric.
An old school bot lane.
Champion who does incredibly well into melee-focused compositions. If you don't have a lot of burst on your team, Taric has one of the best ultimates in the game, but the timing has to be flawless.
I want to say it was an old school rogue bot lane. I think we saw it from Mad Lions
I remember
too.
the timing on the TP was good, but what I will say is the LPL have always been much better with Taric than any other region in the world, so it is a bold call to play it against an LPL team.
Are they thinking about taking the Sylas away from Caps? Yes, they will. The blind pick gonna come through. The ultimate's not the craziest. Of course, the Taric ulti steal away could be good, but the teamfight comp is what they've drafted. BLG 5v5, they have good side lane threat with the potential of the Sylas. I think Renekton versus Sylas in a side lane could largely go either way.
Is it?
Whether it's Ezreal or Zyre, I think both kind of fill the same role, providing a little bit more safety, self-sufficiency for Elk.
And BLG. Terrifying Ezreal.
All right, so Caps, what's the counter pick here? What are you thinking about as an answer to Sylas? Guys, don't get baited.
What is the call? You need magic damage. The Ryze!
It's gonna be Ryze. Okay. I mean, we held our breaths there because I felt like it was appropriate. But for anyone that's been a long-time Caps follower, Ryze is an old school side lane comfort pick for him. Something that he uses to get that mid prio and then roam to those sides. Quick utilization of the ultimate. G2 domestically were big fans of using the Ryze ultimate tempo plays as well to stack waves, get them to towers quicker. Split pushing is so powerful with Ryze that Caps and G2 are going to be leaning on that here in this game.
And these 5v5s are going to be insane. Neither composition has that crazy burst damage champion. It's going to be so much about sustained fights, perfect cooldown usage, finding a pick before you kick off to get any advantage you can. It is low range and it is scrappy. Ezreal is the only champion in this game who gets to take a step back from the absolute bloodbath we will be seeing on our screen.
I also think that the value of this Ryze is Sylas doesn't have great ults. Taric ult can definitely be good, Renekton ultimate, Xin Zhao ultimate, they all have their placements, but they're likely not going to be game-defining in the same way that Caps had options in the previous. Ticket to Paris in the quarterfinals for the other.
G2 and BLG take to the stage, crowd here in the Berlin studio. Alive with the sounds of G2 chants, but this time, you're right, Xun back onto a champion he had such an impact in on game 1 and also on. No longer on Renata duty. Yes, it's so good in the lane. Zhao's coming out as well. BLG fans not going to go quietly here.
Yeah, it's pretty divided in the studio between BLG and G2 fans. Obviously with a small advantage to the home crowd. But my goodness.
Oh, but look at Caps, BLG.
It's crazy to think how merciless this format is. Two of the champions of their respective regions.
Gone to the blink of an eye. Gone at a level 1. Knight hooks in. Yike can now try to follow. Broken Blade trying to stack a bit of Fury, but MikyX and Hans are on the way in. Okay, I said Bloodbath. I didn't expect it to start at level 1. Here we are, a bit of a fist fight.
Looks like we're not going to get a swap. Looks like standard lane matchups. Bin wants to be able to bully out Broken Blade. The timing is good as well. They're going to force the pot out from Mickey, so a health advantage in favor of the bot lane for BLG. It looks like no steal, no invade, nothing too crazy, just a bit of information. Yike can be starting on his top side. Xun is going to be doing the exact same thing. So both junglers likely looking to play towards bot side, and that makes sense. Hansama on his Kalista, something that teams consistently respect Ban because of the comfort that he has on the champion.
You can see there when Rell is demounted, she has a slight range advantage over the Taric, which allows on to get the first auto off. But this is a tense matchup because in the all-in, Rell has so much more CC. But obviously Taric with a lot more sustain. Innate in the kit, the additional armor too.
Now the mid lane matchup is interesting because you can choose to run things like First Strike if you really want to be a bully. But he's going Phase Rush, and Phase Rush is super annoying for Sylas. Because basically it's so easy for Ryze to proc it, and Knight's just gonna get kited.
I'm sorry, we've been using exclusively like really melodramatic adjectives for like the entire lead up into this game, because obviously there's a lot of tense and hype, so when you said annoying, I was just very thrown off.
I mean, it's the most apt way to describe it.
Yeah, no, you're right, it's
Sylas.
completely correct.
He's going to be irritated. In the laning phase, he's doing perfectly fine for the early lane. Ryze can't really kill you. He doesn't have that kind of damage in the early game. So it's mainly just going to be a lot of trading back and forth. Notice that he's running Conqueror as well. Rather than going for the short bursts, he's expecting more of these longer drawn-out fights to be happening in a side lane as well, which does make a lot of sense when he anticipates going up against things like the Renekton and the Ryze later on.
Renekton, Ryze, the Xin. Your electrocute probably isn't the difference between you finding that kill unless you get really fed, but Conqueror in an extended trade where you can get a lot of healing, a lot of additional damage could make the difference. Level 2, of course, went in favor of BLG. That's why they have this initial push here.
Also, Taric just doesn't do much, right?
Yeah, level 3, a little bit better.
Yeah. But now junglers are making their way to bot lane. Xun has completed his full clear, and Yike is looking to do the same. Xun with a little bit of a faster one. He's going to be shadowing the bot lane as information is starting to be gathered. Scry's Bloom is going to be used. Again, looks like a reset's just going to come through from the Kalista. Doesn't want to overstay here. Knows that Xun is in the area, and instead will be making his way towards the top camp. But Mickey saying, I don't need to back just yet. I'm going to be working with my jungler, maybe providing some cover for Caps, knowing that he's prone to a gank right now.
We'll have to see what the Taric initial item choice is. Obviously, you kind of want access to a tier early on, but Caps caught out here with Pierre, but now they're trying to turn the play. Nice stunt fall from Mickey, and down goes Knight. BLG in trouble. Xun trying to walk away. Exhaust coming in as well. They want to kill Xun. G2 a little over eager. The flash from Mickey.
Ooh.
Forcing out the flash from Xun.
Honestly, I'm shocked that BLG tried to force that. They must have assumed that Mickey had gone back to base, but Yike, like, where else is he gonna go? There's no camp for him to take. Oh,
Yike caught out. Good initial burst damage coming in. On trying to find the lock up there. Yike ignited. Yike taking out. Xun running. Good response from BLG to even up the score.
Yeah, Caps didn't quite have the mana and the TP from Nightman that he was able to get to the play first. Mickey couldn't quite get the connection down with his W, which means that the stun wasn't available to him. And so Xun this time reads the play well, knowing that Yike wants to get that top grab and is able to find a punish. Ends up just being a 1-for-1. The unfortunate news for BLG is that kill did go over to On. Ideally, would have given that to Xun. They're looking for another play in mid.
Caps level 4, the follow-up is there. I don't think Mickey can save Caps. Caps about to get deleted. Trying to make it out of safety. Nice little bit of healing. Mickey out of mana, and they will be able to walk away, but Caps, no TP, no flash. Knight ready to push this wave in.
The problem is Mickey doesn't have the mana to help provide safety now for the mid lane, but Yike makes his way towards top. Look at Broken Blade.
Broken Blade going in, taking his time on the stun.
Trying to get the rage.
First dash going to connect. Again, waiting for the flash. Knockup should come in for Yike. Stun to follow for Broken Blade. Again, Yike on the map where he needs to be to find the kills.
It may have looked like a misplay when Broken Blade flash queued, but he did it so that he could start channeling the Q cooldown early while also trying to build up that rage ready for the extended CC on the W. So it allows him to get within range. He could then E, follow it with the E, and then they were able to find that kill. G2 with 2 on the board. Mickey back to mid, providing that support for Caps. And look at the swap coming through from Hansama, getting ready for the grub spawning soon.
But On and Xun are here. G2 can't afford to get overconfident in the mid lane. We'll spot out the bit of vision. On and Xun waiting in the jungle. Do they have enough damage? Cap stacking that tier already. Of course, Ryze only going to get more powerful as the game goes on. Knight level 6, but the ultis he can steal aren't fantastic.
Caps is kind of bleeding a lot of XP because of the amount of time he's having to spend sharing it with other people. But that, the ultimate gives him so much additional damage to his overall kit. Without that level 6, they don't feel confident enough to fight it. Kalista is here. Ezreal's on the way up, but it's 5 members of BLG on the top side of the map.
Too likely forced to concede this. Top wave was only even, and Broken Blade was forced to go bot lane to catch the wave that was crashing. Better setup from BLG overall. Will result in them getting the first grub spawn. G2 moving down to the bottom side of the map to take the obligatory trade deal of the Drake.
It's a bit awkward though for BLG because they brought Elk up and they've kept Bin on the top side of the map, committing his TP as well, which means that this bot tower is now completely exposed. And look at the long way around Elk has to take. He's cautious of the fact that that bot jungle is completely dark, allowing Broken Blade to extend his advantage even further. Yes, he's a little bit down in farm, but securing that play along with the kill has given him a pretty good lead.
Certainly helps. Elk now here to cover. Yike taking a bit of time. Old Tunneler not giving you the most damage here. Hans slow. So we got Hans also taking over to level 6. Bin with his ultimate online hasn't really found a good chance to use it yet. Xun still a bit away, but does have an XP lead over Yike, so potentially a window of opportunity where he can leverage the level 6 that has just now come through.
Oh, they're looking for maybe a play onto Broken Blade here. Don't think they'll be able to find much though. He seems very safe. On is level 4. Broken Blade is level 7.
Also, Elk doesn't have any damage items. And Renekton has ult.
I mean, if you hit him enough, eventually he'll die, but...
I don't know if you've ever tried to 2v1 a Renekton with ult without damage, but
yeah.
It doesn't... It's a tricky proposition.
Now, you'll notice that Xun already ticked over to level 6. He has just been clearing his camps faster than Yike, who's been trying to look for players on the map.
Okay. Broken Blade. Maybe over-eager for the 2v1.
I mean, he knows that he can catch this wave. He should feel pretty safe. Elk's priority is the farm, right? Yeah, nice little trade there from Broken Blade, using the empowered Q to get a bit of health back. And also Bully, Bin going to drop the ultimate in the top wave to make sure he can catch this wave.
While Broken Blade does have to be careful not to step too far forward. Deleting that wave further out, further away from the tower, stops any potential dive coming in from the side of BLG.
But this is what the fans want, right? A very even early game. No one with a clear advantage either side. The gold down the middle is really not much of a discrepancy. And it's going to be setting us up nicely for the mid game as these first items come through, both sides looking for it. I think both teams spike pretty hard on one item. Broken Blade now in danger.
Broken Blade in trouble here. Trying to get away from the ultimate, does get caught out. Dominus is there, but the Ignite already ticking down from On. Should mean a quick kill pickup onto the Renekton. Shun gonna grab that one, maybe not ideal, but BLG, nice collapse on the side lane.
Yeah, misplay there from Broken Blade. An easy collapse from BLG. There's not much that can be cross-mapped, and notice the bin is respecting that, gonna choose to go back to base. That top tower gonna lose some plates. Caps was able to push mid in as well. With his ultimate, he would have been able to find a collapse on top, but nothing really gonna come off the back of it. So the good news for Broken Blade is his death doesn't really cost so much outside of some vision on the top side of the map, which should give G2 easier access into the grubs later on. But the bad news for G2 is that they gave a kill over, and giving it over to Shun. That front line can be a very scary thing to do.
Definitely can be. Bit of vision placed in mid lane just to keep track of where Knight is. Caps catches this wave. Grub spawning in 1 minute. We'll see where both teams want to prioritize. As Caps roaming between lanes right now, does have his entire team to cover, but Knight does not have that information yet. G2 really ready to fist fight for this grub spawn.
Are they thinking about a realm warp play? They have the control wards. Looks like no. He's just going to go catch the wave. Grub's going to be spawning soon. Cap should be able to clear this one out. Yike just there to shadow. They've moved Hans Summer over to mid. Look how comfortable Caps clears out those waves. Level 9 secured for him.
And based on the fact that On is not moving up, it seems like BLG are just willing to concede the second set of grubs. They know no 4 buff will be given over. Not bad to trade at this point. Instead, may look to make a play on the bottom side.
They might just want to trade plates.
G2, though.
Broken Blade isn't too scared about the dive just yet because they have information. They've spotted Jun out, so he should feel safe in the 2 versus 1. Ezreal just used the E as well to get away. I'm surprised G2 aren't just going for the grubs. They had numbers advantage on top side. BLG seemed willing to take the trades. But they end up collapsing onto mid, and as a result of that, Bin even gets a plate in top lane, pushes the wave underneath the tower. All that gold now lost.
And you can see now, as the waves are pushed in, Shun has license to start the objective. Mid prio, though, is there for the side of G2. But again, BLG only need a single grub. They get it. They don't need to stick around. Good window of opportunity leveraged by the side of BLG. That's all they really wanted. Didn't have to risk much to get it either.
Yeah, I mean, as you rightly said, I think BLG really got everything that they wanted here. 4 grubs secured. They're going to use that advantage to help secure the tower on the bot side of the map, and it will be the first tower of the game too. All this influx of gold.
That's a huge gold injection. It just jumped up to a 2K gold lead.
Yeah, and there's no cross map available either. G2 can get some plates for themselves, but we're still 2.5 minutes away from the tower plating actually falling.
Keep in mind, we've now got first item completions for both Shun and Knight. They should be much stronger in any of the fights.
Now, the good news is, if you want to look at it holistically, is a lot of that gold lead is sitting on.
Yeah.
He's got about a 900 gold lead over Mickey, which in the context of the game doesn't really mean that much. The bad news for G2 fans are that this Ezreal has already completed the Trinity Force, the Rocket Belt finished as well for Knight. So these first item spikes are crucial given that the Dragon's spawning in 10 seconds. So I'm not sure if G2 should feel confident enough to actually fight this. The resets are coming through from the 2 carries. We'll see if they actually complete an item in time.
Thundered Sky is there. Caps does manage to get Archangels, but again, before it turns into Seraphs, really not the same immediate oomph.
And then the Kalista back also cancelled as he tries to catch the wave. So yeah, nice, honestly, good sequence of events from BLG. A moment of hesitancy there from G2. Rather than just committing to the grubs and playing for top tower, they moved back into mid wave, that then moved into pot river, and they just kind of wasted their tempo, allowing for BLG to both secure the bot tower and even get a grub for themselves. So well played by BLG.
Yeah, good discipline from BLG. I think it's a situation where G2 are clearly fishing, hoping that
Ryze
creative
here.
angle. Ryze finding the angle. Bin now in trouble. Yike going over the wall. The Dazzle not going to connect, but the knock was there. Quick flash coming in from Caps. Bin's got nowhere to go. Side lane pick. Bin cannot get close enough to the wall. The flash to safety. G2 find one in the side lane, but BLG looking to respond in the mid.
They commit very heavily to getting that kill on the Bin, and it will pay off.
Dazzle going to hit. Aftershock there for Mickey.
Yeah, I don't think
want
they
to
can
overcommit.
Really force this fight though. Kalista still doesn't have the first item finished. Jun, I don't think he'll be able to get much here. Renekton gonna go catch the bot wave as Knight finding himself more time in the side lane on bot. Gonna go match Caps now on the top side. Cosmic Drive likely gonna be the second item for Knight. But yeah, okay, so it's a small kill advantage for G2. The gold is only 500 apart, and honestly, if you kind of ignore the support difference, the only real advantage that we're seeing is Elk with a completed item over
Certainly.
Kalista.
I mean,
Herald going to be spawning in 10 seconds. If Hans can get back to base and buy this item, it would be a point with which G2 could consider fighting. But it might be right what you said, that with the Archangels not fully stacked, maybe G2 is saying it's not worth the risk.
I think they're just too late. He is finally back. He does finally buy it, but the objective's already started.
I think you're right.
It's a situation where that minor difference of 200 or 300 gold doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's the difference of completing an item, puts you so far behind on the play, and good recognition from BLG, knowing they're stronger, knowing they have the items and the XP that they need to force this. Of course, Caps does have a small lead in the mid lane, but Ryze level 11, that big of a deal, and you can see bot lane, as you so well highlighted, Vedi, only one of those little blue graphs matters, but the Elk one, always a bit concerning.
It's building up into a game that's going to come down to teamfights, Drakos. Right now, BLG, I would say, getting the better of G2 when it comes to the macro department. But in the mid game, BLG is not going to hesitate to fight you around these neutrals. Like Rumble, Rell, Silas, these are champions that thrive in those sort of skirmish environments. And G2 are going to have to find ways to navigate around it. Maybe find a pick. A flank from Renekton is going to be crucial. G2's engage is very reliant on Xin Zhao ulti, maybe combined with the Taric ulti.
Yeah, Kalista as well, but you highlighted it, right? It's not nearly as simple or as straightforward. Requires a little bit of a bigger commitment than what BLG have to bring. And also BLG, again, Ezreal range advantage doesn't feel like too much right now. Probably gets mid-prio first in a lot of circumstances. But you can see that it's really tough for Han Sama to actually get on top of Elk. That is going to be a pretty big problem in the later fights if they cannot find a way to take Elk off the board. Their composition does not handle an Ezreal particularly well, unless Caps is zooming full speed with a phase rush, in which case maybe it's enough, but it's still difficult.
Tense affair. On, going to get stunned, but nice timing on the crash down means that it's going to be able to get away to safety. Pings on the top side river from both sides, largely around that ward that's sitting in that brush. Hans with the early prio, keeping eyes on the top laners as well. Both have TPs available. That bot tower, though, I mean, these outer towers for BLG, making it very difficult for G2 to really gain much control on the map. Broken Blade taking a rough trade there with the Leandry's finish for Bin. He is just chunking down the HP of Broken Blade.
Difficult 1v1 matchup, most certainly. The Dazzle doesn't connect. G2 really grouped around this top side, maybe hoping to find a pick. Not really a lot to play for on the map right now. Dragon set up the next big thing as Elk is able to find a good ulti. Nice bit of poke also allows him to contest the wave. Miky getting lower and lower. BLG again just chipping away these health bars. On, bit of an awkward start. Miky ignited, now trying to use the ultimate, and they're going to turn it back. He's invulnerable for 2.5 seconds. Good ulti coming in from Jun, and Elk still untouched for a moment. Realm Warp coming in as well. On, going to be in trouble. Miky's still standing. The healing coming through. BLG just the 1-for-1 so far. Yike now in trouble. He's burned everything he's got. Knight coming in, flashing from Yike. He wants to turn it. TP coming in as well, but Knight stolen away the Xin Zhao ultimate. It's a double kill for Elk, and again, the Ezreal starting to take over, doing a bit more damage. The red buff there, but Broken Blade coming in. The Stride Breaker, is it enough to flash forward? One more on it, wants to finish the job. He'll get him, but Bin there to punish. It's an even fight thus far.
A crazy skirmish the Caps wasn't even involved in. The TP came through from both top laners to get down and dirty, but so many summoners burnt. I think that ended up being an even trade of 3 for 3. Caps were pushing this top wave. Bin will scare him off. Let's look back at how this one started. It's Miky taking a dangerous path to regroup with Yike. On sees an opportunity, misses the Q, connects the ultimate though. Q from Elk doesn't actually find purchase either. Miky with the re-engage knows that he has the ulti to stay alive. Jun buys time during the suppression, but then Han's ulti brings him back in. Now though, they can look for the re-engage as Elk finds a nice Q onto Miky to equalize the trades. They then look for the re-engage, knowing that they're stronger. As you said, Yike burnt so much, but he goes back in, knowing that the TP is coming through. It looks good initially for BLG, but then this Silas is just isolated as Jun is forced away, and so is Elk. Broken Blade with a clutch play there to end up trading 1-for-1.
Tension, shouting behind the scenes. Incredibly close fights.
I mean, it is incredibly close.
But you see in the picture-in-picture, the game pace is so quick that even in a replay, we need to show you what's happening next. And right now, that's BLG with the first objective set up. And once again, Caps in a side lane, which thus far has been a good omen for G2, but it's not the same game that it was in Game 2. It's not the massive compositional difference that allows G2 to just split the map effortlessly.
But look at the gold at the bottom of your screen. I like what BLG is doing. They're punishing the fact that Caps is in the side lane on the top side. They should be able to secure this tower. Can they catch Hans?
On. Missing the Shattering Strike. Second charge. Will not connect. Caps now finishing the Cosmic Radiance, or excuse me, the Cosmic Drive.
But bear in mind, it is 2 out of towers for 1. The fact that BLG have secured that mid tower as well gives them that much more agency over the enemy side of the map, and they got the dragon too. On should be fine in this situation, but it seems that G2 are willing to take these skirmishes, but they're prioritizing allowing Caps to scale up. And what's crucial is in that last fight, Hans got 2 kills. Elk got a double as well. But what was about a 500, 600 gold lead for Elk has now been equalized, where both AD carries are now within touching distance of each other. The Rage Blade going to be completed soon for Hans Summer. But crucially, look at Caps. Cosmic Drive now completed with the Merc Treads as well. Broken Blade and Caps should be able to get this tower. And the only concern that you have for BLG is Caps is ramping up. He is nearly 2 full levels overnight. He's about 11.5 for the time being. They're going to TP to top lane. Oh, but that might have been too dangerous.
Leading the wave. Waiting for the ulti, catching out Caps, trying to burn him down into the tower. Archangel Shield is still there. He's running as fast as he can. Bin trying to finish the kill. He will be able to get it. Crucial from BLG, but now they're looking to turn on. Can he save his top laner? The answer is yes. Mickey now on the chase as well. Knight in the 1v1 at the bottom screen. It's a split screen focus. Elk over the wall is going to be clutch. Cosmic Radiance coming, but it might come a little bit too late. G2 just have to run. BLG find the better play. Hansama's there just in time to watch them lose the exchange.
It's BLG that find the superior skirmish. Caps tries to go for too much. The TP into top lane as BLG was stacking there ready for the cross map, meaning that they have the numbers advantage. Elk also collapses before Hans is able to, and it ends up being another kill. They're going to secure the tower. They're going to find a kill advantage, and it's BLG that's going to get a small lead in the gold. But I say that, look at the mid lane. G2's looking to respond. They should be able to secure this.
Knight stepping up. Has to immediately back away as the mid lane tier 1 will fall.
It's still so close, Drakos. Both teams within 500 gold of one another. The items are pretty much similar across the board. Ezreal, though, spiking hard with the Muramana completed.
And this is that 2-item spike that everybody talks about with Ezreal, right? This is where those Qs hit like a truck. Hansama, if he can get in range against champs like the Skarner or the Rell, he'll shred through those health bars.
This Rumble too, man, like Riftmaker completed alongside the Leandries. I'm assuming the Broken Blade just hasn't based yet. He's got to be sitting on a lot of gold.
But you're right, I mean, it's tough. They have to perfectly, on the side of Caps, perfectly outspace the Flamethrower, the Electro Harpoons if he wants to win the 1v1 versus Bin. Gets easier as you get later in the game, but the Equalizer, again.
Caps is now 2 levels up on Knight, by the way. I mean, it's still about a level and a half, but he's doing some serious work.
Doing what he can.
Oh, no stacks just yet for Broken Blade. I mean, that kill is the difference. Bin being able to get that shut down onto Caps really is what's giving him that item advantage for the time being.
Also, opted for the Oblivion Orb, slowed down some of those early spikes, but now it's going to feel really solid in a fight where there is just so much healing.
Caps going to catch that top wave, but he can't afford to overextend, knowing that his team doesn't have that much control over the map right now. Bot wave going to be contested as well. Look at Bin. Full information thanks to Knight, which means that he's just zoning Broken Blade away from this farm. Level 14 for him. It was last year's Worlds where we really got to see the introduction of Bin's Rumble to the international stage. And I mean, he is a scary Rumble player, or he has become one.
And I think right now, if you're G2, you can see you're losing out in mid lane priority, the range advantage that Ezreal has, the ulti he can use to just ensure that you're always getting those waves in first, is slowly choking out the map. Yes, Caps isolated in the side lane can still be that threat, but right now, the vision control from BLG is absolute. Yike. Not going to be forced to take the blast cone, but luckily spots BLG in time. Question is, can they really start the Baron at this stage of the game? Probably yes. With the Rumble on 2 items, he's going to do a lot of burn damage.
It is a scary affair. It's BLG playing with control for now. They get the top push, they get the mid push, and also whenever Bin is able to find Broken Lady, forces him out. So the map is quickly becoming over the TP flank.
TP coming in as well. Shun going to try to find the ultimate, but he does not connect on Caps. Crucially, TP response now coming in from BLG as they try to split the fight. On trying to turn the fight back. The Equalizer is beautiful. The Cosmic Radiance. Will it come in time? The answer is yes. Mickey buying 2.5 seconds for the team to try and turn this one back. Hansama and the Caps untouched to the back line. A perfect dazzle to get things kicked off. Ulti coming in from Hansama as well, but BLG steal one back. Bin, can he burn them all? The answer is no. G2 finding the angle as Elk runs for his life. The Ezreal. Can it make the difference? He's still standing. Yike finding the 1v1 versus Shun. He should come out on top. Double blast cone makes it a little bit trickier. Will finish the job. He will get the jungler down, but Elk, can they afford to approach the last man standing on the side of BLG? G2 winning the fight. They'll take the Drake as Elk is shepherded back into G2 territory. How can he escape?
He
Yike
can't.
to follow the shutdown there for G2.
It's an ace. On is able to respawn in time, so it doesn't pop up, but that is 5 kills for G2. A massive teamfight win. They look for Elk. They're able to catch him off guard. He's forced to flash so quickly. Yike is able to connect the W. He goes in, and look at how low he's forced. How about this Rumble ultimate from Bin? Would have been massive if it weren't for Mickey's ulti. We're back to live Baron!
This fight, calling in the TPs at the very least, but G2 want to stay on the objective. They know the angle. They know Skarner has to approach them. It's not Hextech Rift. They can risk the 50-50. Tension growing, 5K getting lower. Yike now committing. Response coming in from Ultimate as he has to stop, but the Dazzle is there. Yike taken out. They don't have a smite in the pit. Caps has to make the difference. Broken Blade now coming into the backside of the fight. They cannot afford to take the objective, but they can try to find the kills. Bin turning, burning. Knight in the clutch, finding the sustain he needs, but Broken Blade desperate to finish the job because Caps is still alive. Suppression there. 2v2. Solo lanes versus mid jungle. Ezreal on the way. G2 can't afford to extend the fight, but Broken Blade wants a little bit more. Will it cost him the Dominus? The healing coming in for Knight. Elk here to save the day. Caps running. BLG blinking health bars. Can they start the Baron? The answer is yes.
G2 tried to force a Baron. They tried to do it when Jun was dead, but that ambitious play may have cost them everything. It's only Caps left alive. With Elk now here, they can secure the Baron. A massive teamfight win for BLG.
Knight.
Oh. He's going to deny the blast cone. There will be no steal. They're not going to wait for Bin to respawn, but that's a Baron for BLG. Why did G2 try to do that?
They thought they could turn. They trusted in the moment that they had what it takes, but you can see how much damage BLG are able to do.
Look at this Rumble ultimate. So the thing is, like, the Taric ultimate isn't available. So Yike goes in and then they just focus him down. He then drops before the Renekton is really in range. They take out on short. Mickey's still tanking up the Baron, trying to keep it low. Knight is able to get out of the fight, but that Rumble ultimate was huge.
The Rumble ult, the Ezreal ult, the sheer amount of damage they do to Yike. He's just built HP. He doesn't have any MR. He gets shredded alive, and while Broken Blade is desperate to get this back, he thinks maybe they can win the 2v2. It's Elk coming in the final moments that ensures there's really no avenue of attack left for G2 in the fight.
An over-ambitious play. BLG find a huge punish, and now they have the Baron. It's not over yet. The goal is still within touching distance, but the Zonya's now completed for Knight. After what was a big advantage being built between the two mid laners, he now finds himself in a much stronger spot. 3 items for Rumble, 3 items for Elk. BLG is looking scary and online.
Definitely are. Again, the range discrepancy, Elk freely able to throw down this poke.
Look at the experience discrepancy. Bin's about to tick over to level 16. Broken Blade still a ways from level 15.
I mean, look what he did with rank 2 equalizer, rank 3, even more damage. Realm Warp, G2 want to make the aggressive play. TP behind, but the perfect equalizer, slowing them down for now. Cosmic Radiance going in, Knights in the midst, the entire team. He now goes golden, a perfect goal coming in for Shun. Elk untouched over the wall, they get the exhaust down at least, but G2 trying to fight back in the extended fight. Now in the midst of everything, it's Shun continuing to step up. Yike still standing, but he can't get in the mix. Broken Blade trying to hold on, but BLG are just better, just more powerful as they knock down the tier 2 as G2 are sent back to their base.
G2 is overforcing. They use the ultimate there to try and catch Bin off guard, but another fantastic Rumble ultimate means that BLG win out on the fight. The suppression against the Taric ultimate to buy time means that an inhibitor is going to fall. G2 is quickly losing control of this whole game.
And you can see BLG ready to weather the storm of the G2 engages, knowing that the way things are going when they have the Baron buff, it's G2 who have to try and make the play. Credit to them again, another beautiful Rumble ultimate in the midst of that fight and that choke point. Yes, Taric ultimate comes down in time to mitigate some of that damage, but it's just so well played. Mickey able to get the exhaust off in the last seconds to deny a bit of damage from Elk, but he's just untouched in all of these fights.
The situation is now dire for G2. Bin's Rumble is monstrous, with the arm guard now completed as well. This Ezreal close to the 4th item, and the split push options that G2 have are quickly dwindling. Look at this Rumble ultimate from Bin. Right into the choke point, onto 3 members. Caps gets melted before he really has an opportunity to do anything, and then the suppression from Shun's ulti to buy out the duration of the Taric ulti. They think maybe we can get the re-engage, but the rest of BLG is there to support Knight. He ends up dropping at the expense of Broken Blade's life, but that was enough. They unlock 2 towers. The bot inhibitor is gone.
They just can't afford to lose Caps in the start of those fights. He's so much of their damage. You could see Hansama throwing countless spears, but it's just not enough. Even with the Rend. Checking the goal difference powered by AWS, a much closer game overall, but BLG on track to replicate the success they found. Caps, though, still with more threats on a side lane. This is not the same game as it was when it was the Orion and Nocturne. More agency, more angles, but higher risk now, as he may step too far as the Realm Warp if he does need to escape. Soul Point going to be secured by the side of BLG, 5 minutes. So they're able to force a fight, and right now they've set up to take better control of the map. Again, so hard to match this Ezreal in the mid lane, the pressure he provides.
Elk is just so terrifying now. Ezreal is so difficult to lock down in the late game fights, and G2 in that previous fight around the blue buff found a way to get his flash. He had no cleanse. They were able to lock him down. And now how are they going to do that? BLG can just buy time. Baron respawns in about a minute and a half. Continue to control the top side of G2's jungle, push out these sideways. Look, bot is passively going to push thanks to the super minions. Mid from Knight, top from Bin. Broken Blade will tick over to 16 soon. A crucial level as you get the 3rd point in your ultimate.
G2 going to hold on if they can.
BLG should be able to secure this top tier 2 though.
Easy for them to just push this out, right? I think at this stage it's so hard for G2. BLG with control on the map. Again, if Taric goes in first, if the Taric team is going in first, they get to use Cosmic Radiance proactively. It feels so good. It's such a powerful ability. But you saw there that Bin is still getting down thousands of damage in a fight if they're forced to use it in response to a good equalizer.
I feel like it's just one of those things where once the Baron fell, G2 felt the pressure, and now they've calmed down. The problem is they have to deal with the consequences of their decision. Hans will complete the Wit's End, so he's definitely a scary threat on the side of G2 with the Death Cap finish for Caps as well, a big spike for him. Perhaps G2 can still find a good fight. The BLG will be in the better map state. 25 seconds till the Baron. Vision continues to be denied on the side of G2.
So much pressure now on G2, knowing that there's such a deficit. You can understand why they think that throwing that Hail Mary might be their only way out. Despite how good this series has been, it's elimination or ascension. There's no in-between. People will only remember the victor and the disappointment. Shun on the way in, good angle to start the fight. Caps locked up, Cosmic Radiance coming in a little bit sooner than expected from the side of BLG. Knight exhausted, but he has Xin Zhao ulticated back. G2 starting off pretty well in the fight, but Elk is untouched, starting to stack up the passive hitting. Hansama trying to find the stun angle, but they can't get it done. Knight in the midst of the entire team, falling up on MikyX. Is it enough? Bin and Elk untouched, the 3 carries at the core of BLG. Can they find the angle? G2 blinking health bars, but they still stay strong. Elk on the chase. Caps trying to make the difference, the ulti. Hansama taken out, Elk versus the world. Elk continuing to find the angles, the slower is there, the double kill is there. Elk is a monster in that fight.
Elk is just too damn good. And we have a pause. I don't know why, but my goodness. A team fight that was initiated by BLG. I see the unpause happening right now. So as of this moment, Broken Blade is alive, Caps is alive, Elk is alive, and Bin is alive.
And we're back!
And we're back. So everyone is pressing base. The bot wave is going to be caught by Broken Blades. And yeah, we return to a neutral state. Now, G2 have just come off the back of, well, a teamfight equalizer. It was initiated by BLG. Elk was able to clean up the fight, and now G2 are going to go and catch these waves. On the bottom left of your screen, you'll notice the inhibitor timer, 10 seconds until that comes back up for G2. But now the QSS completed for Elk with no summoners available. Crucially, Caps' flash at the end of that fight was 5 seconds off cooldown. If he had had it, he might have been able to kill Elk, but we're straight back into game, and it's a Baron.
Baron angle. They know Yike said for 5 more seconds. BLG just want to rush this one down. 4K advantage already. They're just going to be able to grab it. G2 have no response. Built on the back of that last team fight. Elk popping off, helping secure BLG. Secure the Baron.
A commanding play from BLG to recognize the fact that Yike is still dead. They have that window and they can do enough damage to secure it. Soul Point going to be spawning at about a minute and 10 seconds. Caps was able to push out bot wave, got arm guard for himself. Xin just walking into the enemy jungle, feeling confident. Broken Blade going to go catch that top wave. 18 levels, level 18s being picked up across the board for multiple players. We're truly into the late game now.
We're really at the point of the game where a single team fight likely to decide it all. With BLG in such a dominant position, G2 winning Probably buys them time, gives them a bit more space.
Look
on
at
the
that
map.
cooldown on Elk's Q. It doesn't have one.
It doesn't have one. If he hits something, it does not have one. And of course, we are still 40 seconds away.
I mean, G2
from
are just
Seoul.
conceding the mid wave. They're just conceding it. BLG pushing in.
Recall's now coming in.
It's
Maybe a
gonna
bit
be
of a
two inhibitors.
miscalculation here from the side of G2 as their side laner's forced to return.
And they can go straight back, and they can get the soul off the back of this too.
Inhibitor's gonna fall. TP behind, though, is going to be big. Will it be enough? Shun not quite timing it correctly. Broken Blade to miss the entire team, but he's just gonna get deleted. Trying to dash back to safety. Will be able to do it. But now BLG on the chase. Broken Blade gives his entire life. The Equalizer, he's got nowhere to go. The Realm Orb, is it gonna be enough? Cosmic Radiance, can they buy enough space? The answer is no. Caps, Mickey running. 3 members left standing. BLG, one final push, looking to close it here. Looking to go straight for the throat. They found the winning mid-team fight, and that might just decide it. Caps locked up the flashback to safety. Caps taken down. Hansama about to fall. Mickey taken out as well. BLG knocking down the last of the LEC as they move on to the bracket stage.
All 4 LPL teams will qualify as BLG join their brothers in the quarterfinals. A single team fight off the back of a Baron was all it took. And just like that, the last hope of Europe is eliminated.
And that's enough from us here. Let's send it over to the analyst desk.
BLG does it. There was only a short reprieve for G2 in that pause, but the ship had already sailed. The gold lead was too high. The Ezreal was too fed, unfortunately. And BLG, they overcome all the hurdles. They had to fight back in that 2-2 bracket up against it. People had lost faith in them, Emily included.
Yes.
But BLG is not someone to be underestimated, and they should have won this best of 3, and they did.
I was just about to say, let the record show that I did not believe in them every step of the way, especially in this game. I actually really did think, as we see G2 taking their final bow, that they would not be able to execute on this, that G2 would be able to spread the map. I do think coming out of that pause into the team fight, recognizing they should immediately take Baron, was an incredibly good call. My brain was mush. I totally forgot what the actual game state
You see
was,
Caps
so.
there, you see G2, of course, absolutely crushed. They do not get a chance to go back to Paris where they had unfinished business in.